Well, guys, up to this point, most of my videos on YouTube are fairly technical how-to types of situations, so I thought I'd have a little fun and show y'all how I do my paint. It's pretty basic stuff. I don't use a lot of fancy paint. I don't use professional sprayers, and I figured for my audience, using rattle can is probably the most cost-effective way to get stuff done. Today I'm going to be painting this bicycle rim, and as you see, I've already got the spokes taped off. It doesn't have to go all the way up the spoke, just enough to where you do not get anything that doesn't need to be painted. Now I'm going to be doing some paint on this gas tank, and I'm going to be painting the sprocket to match the rim. The stuff I'm using is part of the paint I'm going to use on the gas tank is this stuff right here, Duplicolor Engine Enamel. The reason why I use this, it's got ceramic in it. It's heat resistant up to 500 degrees, which doesn't really matter for our application, and it also is fuel resistant. And you don't technically have to use primer, but I use primer. And for the rim and the sprocket, I'm using this stuff here. That's right, bed liner. This stuff dries, and when it's dried, it's hard as a rock, has a really cool texture to it. Anyway, so let's get started with this tutorial. I've already scuffed up the rim. Probably didn't need to, but I did just in case, so it'll take the primer. I'm going to be getting the clear coat off of the gas tank. I thought I'd experiment using IPA, that's isopropyl alcohol, or rubbing alcohol. At my job currently, where I work, we use it a lot. It evaporates, it cuts grease, and it doesn't hang around like water does. So just some general stuff, you can get it at Walgreens, Walmart, any store will sell this stuff pretty much. So that's it right there. I'm also going to be painting my rim, my sprocket. I'm sure you remember this greasy piece of crap from other videos. I'm going to be getting all the grease off, and I'm not going to paint the teeth, but I am going to paint the surfaces on both sides just to make it match. So let's get started with this tutorial. What I'm going to do, I'm using 400 grit sandpaper right here. 400 grit, and that's fairly fine grit. One of my buddies, he owns a custom car shop or whatever, he uses 600. I guess it don't really matter, and that's about it for now. So all you got to do really is douse the part with IPA and sand away. I don't have my camera person here today, so we're just going to have to wing it. Just take my word for it. I've already started the wet sanding with this project. I'm using isopropyl alcohol instead of water. It helps, you know, clean the part, and it'll also act as a water type agent when you do the wet sanding. And this is what I've gotten so far. I'm using 400 grit sandpaper, and I'm not going to clear coat. I'm not going to sand the bottom of the gas tank. I'm only doing the top part because that's what I'm going to be painting. And I'll be using that beige paint, and I'll be using the what's left of the bed liner in the can. So this is what it looks like so far. I'm gonna wipe it down real good with a clean rag. You want to wipe down with clean rags. And I'm gonna hit up the sprocket next. This guy's a mess. So look at it now, and then I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. So with everything being sanded, wet sanded, clean, see, it looks a lot better, right? Yes, it does. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to tape off the sections of whatever part I'm painting that I don't want to get the paint on. So for the sprocket, I'm going to be taping off all the teeth. So from this little lip up all the way around, and even on the back side of it, I'm going to tape off the teeth. And then on this guy right here, it's going to be a little different. I'm going to tape off the opening for the gas cap, and I'm going to leave my petcock on there, but I'm going to tape that off also. Okay, and I just figure I'll have less chance of getting paint inside the gas tank. The rim, like I said, the rim has already been taped off. It took quite a bit of time, but I have it all taped off. And I'm gonna probably start with the rim first. And how I'm gonna do this is it's real simple. I'm gonna spray primer on the rim, and then I'm gonna go ahead, and when that primer dries, I'm just gonna do one light coat of primer. And once that primer dries, I'm gonna hit it up with the bed liner. And gonna be the same thing for the sprocket. Okay, I'm not gonna do that in the house. I'm crazy, but I ain't stupid. So I'll be back in a sec with everything taped off, and I'll start spraying. So what I've done is tape up the teeth on the sprocket. The reason why is the chain's going to rub it and probably peel off whatever paint was on there anyway, so I decided just to do that. What I did was I took a bunch of small strips of masking tape. I got blue tape, but you can use the brown, nothing specific. And I just tore them off, and I laid them out here just under the lip, right there where the lip butts up. And so what I do is I take just like that, about like that, and then I flip it over, and then I just cover the teeth up on the opposite side. And you fill in the blanks, fill in the gaps. If you have tear another little piece off here, finish up your spot, and then this guy will be ready to spray in just a couple of minutes. On the gas tank, what I did, I put tape over my gas cap and around the lip of it, and I went on, just to be cautious, I put it under the part I'm not planning on painting, and I taped up my petcock, and it's almost ready for everything to be painted. Alright, one other thing I did to the sprocket was I filled the bolt holes with some tissue, and the hole that goes around the dust cap with tissue, because the stuff I'm using is textured and I don't want to run the risk of anything getting in the way and preventing the bolts from going through. So, and I'm about to spray, and when I do this, I'm going to do smooth, easy coats. So light dusting coats like this. Just like that. Let that dry. Then you go on. You do the same thing for the part you're painting on the gas can. Don't worry about covering everything all at once. When you do try to cover everything all at once, you run the risk of getting runs in your paint. See that spot there? That's a little thick. And that's that. I'm going to go ahead and knock out the wheel, but I need two hands. So I'll get back to y'all in a sec. Now that the primer is dried, what you want to do is do some very light sanding. The sand helps take away some of the dust. The primer can be dusty. And let me get this guy in the sunlight a little bit, just so you can get a look. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take off that small top layer of primer, and just going to hit it up with my 400 grit sandpaper, and then I'll start the actual painting and masking off of the gas tank, and then I'll start hitting up the bed liner for the sprocket and the bed liner on the rim. So this is what it looks like right now. I'm sorry for the bad lighting. There it is, guys. So once again, I'm gonna hit this up with my 400 grit sandpaper real light, knock some of that dusty stuff off, and we'll get going from there.